Yeah, speaker this afternoon is Ms. Afriti Chinoy. Afriti is a senior at Troy High School, and she's also been involved with the Zoroastrian Youth Association organization since she was an adolescent. Afriti has participated in Zoroastrian Youth Camp in Chicago, written for the Zoroastrian Youth newspaper, and spoken at the annual World Sabbath for Peace and Religious Reconciliation. Afriti is very involved in her local community, winning the prestigious Gold Presidential Volunteer Service Award for 2 consecutive years. She works as the chair of the Troy Student Advisory Board, which organizes local community events and increases participation of high school students in the surrounding area. During summer, Afriti trains young athletes in golf at the Troy Golf Academy and works as a ski instructor with the Troy Parks and Recreation in winter. At Troy High, Afriti has passionately dedicated her time in Model UN, Economics Club, National Honor Society, and DECA, earning her leadership positions and competing at international competitions. On a jovial note, Afriti entertains the community at the annual Troy High Indian American Students Association dance show, where she dances to Bollywood and Bhangra music. Jai Ho! Ladies and gentlemen, Afriti Chinoy.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Afriti Chinoy, and I'm going to be talking to you today on Zarathustra's teachings in the modern world. So I hope by now everyone has a pen and a sticky note in front of them. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to a minute. And on the sticky note, if you could just write down for me 3 things that you're positive about for the future. Whether it's ideas, concepts, people, just 3 things. Thank you. Anything.
Can I say I really love this introduction? Can I say that? Who's out there? She did go first.
Okay, so hopefully everyone has their 3 things written down. And now, if you could just turn to someone next to you and share your 3 ideas with them. Just very quickly. Just share your ideas with them.
Okay, well, I don't think I've ever done one.
Okay, so I hope you've gotten a minute to share with someone around you 3 things that they were positive about and 3 things you were positive about. And we're going to come back to this activity to find out why we did this. Why did we do this? So I want to start off with, what are the gathas? The gathas are the hymns composed by Zarathustra in 1300 BCE. In this composition of literature, Zarathustra expounds aspects of his teachings. But the main number up here is 1300 BCE. And today we live in 2017. So how can someone's teachings from 1300 BCE relate to society today in 2017? Ideas, civilizations, people, concepts, inventions have changed the world from then to now. So how is this possible? The Amesha Spentas is the answer. They are a direct translation to bountiful immortals, 7 abstract concepts of which theology is constructed. Cultivation of these qualities allows all human beings to reach their full potential. And so the word up there, immortal, that's the answer. Is that no matter whether we live in 1300 BCE, no matter whether we live in the Renaissance of the 1500s, no matter if we live today in the modern technological world of 2017, or we live in the future of 3017, it is this idea that these concepts, these 7 Amesha Spentas, will always matter. They will always be the cultivation of our full potential. So our first Amesha Spenta, Spenta Menu, direct translation to wisdom. Wisdom is learning from our experiences. It's building our knowledge, and knowledge comes from education. Education is our ability to learn and grow as human beings. It gives us the one thing we all strive for, opportunity. And Zarathustra's belief in humans gaining knowledge is translated by the progress of knowledge in the world today. So, today we see that global estimates of literacy and school attendance are above 80%, and the inequality between world regions, while still existing, is much lower. And over the course of the 20th century, the world achieved rapid progress in education. More than 4 out of 5 people are now able to read. Young generations are better educated than ever before. And government financing for education drastically increased in the 21st century. So to exemplify all these key statistics is this chart, literate and illiterate world population. As you can see, at the beginning of this chart, in 1800, the literate population was only 12%. Yet the illiterate population was the majority, 87.95%. Now look, within 2 centuries, the rapid progress that has changed society. 2014, the literate population is 85%, and the illiterate is only 15%. But that's not enough. We need to change those numbers to 100% of literate population. Why? Because education inequality declining reduces income inequality. And we all know that economics plays a huge role in any society. Our next Amesha Spenta is Asha Vihishta, direct translation to truth. So with corruption, politics, scandals, crimes, where can we find honesty as a core value? Where is honesty still possible to be developing? And that would be with business ethics. You see, even in 1300 BC, Zarathustra wrote, "Do not hold grain waiting for higher prices when people are hungry." He understood that economics could play an unfair game, even back then. But what he strived is for us to be ethical people. And this is what business ethics does for us today. These ethics originate from individuals, organizational statements, and from the legal system itself. With product safety and liability, Look at your warranties and guarantees on every product you purchase. It's with that comes that the consumer is the first and most important person. With HR, we look at equality in the workplace with pay, hiring, firing. With advertising and marketing, it's important to sell ethically because we're not trying to manipulate the consumer. We're trying to make sure that they get the best. With finance, scandals, money laundering, tax evasion, you hear about those things all the time. But what's important is the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or the federal boards that make sure and oversee all auditing. With sales and pricing, we live in a market economy where capitalism and competition is very important. Yet, with fair pricing, we can make sure that each consumer always receives the best. And importantly, whistleblowing. It protects those who are honest, and it shows that society values those who are honest. So, last but not least, international business and trade. With deals, partnerships, and global entrepreneurship on the ultimate rise, it's organizations like the World Trade Organization that take care of business ethics. And remember that money is only one part of business, but it's the human beings that participate in business that really make it what it is. Our next tenacious venta is Vahumana. Direct translation to good mind, moral cognition, understanding nature of the real world, holds out path to justice and spiritual knowledge. I want to focus on one word, justice. What is justice? If you search up the definition, it's very simple. Correct behavior and treatment. Yet, people don't always get justice. And so what do? They fight for it. And that is where global uprisings, movements, and they're so important because they don't fight for now. They fight for, again, your future. The fight for our beliefs are very important. And some of the greatest movements that take place today, things like Black Lives Matter, where people stand up for who they are in countries and areas like Missouri and Florida. We look at the 2017 Women's March, a global movement of women standing up for who they are. The Umbrella Revolution in 2014 in Hong Kong, China. Despite circumstances, weather, they stood up for their democracy because they believed that they had a voice in their government. Once again, those same core values of standing up against the government to stand up for what they believed, for their voice, their representation, was shown in 2014 Ukrainian Revolution. So where do we recognize these protesters? Where do we recognize these people who fight for justice? An example of that is in 2011, where the Times Person of the Year were protesters. And why? A couple of comments from their editors really stood out to me. In 2011, protesters didn't just voice their complaints. They changed the world while doing so. People who fight for their beliefs, their rights, justice, and the world are people who want to have a voice. And we must support this. Why? Once again, because it's not for today. It's not just for tomorrow. It's from the society that's going to live on America 50 years from now. It's going to be for the world that lives a century from now when you're not here, but they want to build that perfect society. Our next tenacious venta is Spenta or Mighty. Direct translation to beneficent devotion. Concern for the good, devotion to good, right-mindedness, spirit of devotion and faith. So where do we see devotion to goodness? In our volunteering and community service. As Zoroastrian once said, doing good to others is not a duty, it is a joy, for it increases your own health and happiness. So if devotion to good is Spenta or Mighty, then devotion to good means dedicating to improving our own lives. So, important statistics that have recently been found, and something we should be very proud of, is that reports found that 62.6 million adults, or 25%, volunteered through an organization in 2013. Altogether, Americans volunteered nearly 7.7 billion hours. The estimated value of this volunteer service is nearly 173 billion. In addition, more than 138 million Americans, or 62.5%, also engaged in informal volunteering in their communities, helping neighbors with such tasks as watching children, helping with shopping, or house sitting. Yet, I'm proud of these numbers, but I want more. I want that 25% to turn into 75%. I want that 173 billion to be 300 billion. I want that 62.5% to be 90+%. And it's not just me who wants this, it's all of you. Because remember, society is dedicated to others. And it's important that if we empower each other, we're empowering our future. Our next Amisha Spenta is Kashta Verya. Direct translation to desirable dominion. Building an ideal society. Power in action. So when I came upon this ideal society, I asked myself, what does my ideal society include? What would I change about our world today to make it ideal? And I came upon the study of sustainability. Sustainability is building that ideal society. It's putting that power into action. So, with sustainability, I focused on employees and society. Employee discrimination decreased, more women in the workforce, and better treatment in the workforce for those of different races. Paid leave for women during pregnancy and after birth. Paid leave for men after birth of child. If we want to build egalitarian society, that starts from raising our children in egalitarian households. More workplace safety measures. Mental and physical health checkups done at work. So, yes, I can say I want this ideal society, that this is what we're going for. But is there a company that truly exemplifies that? Yes, and that would be Audi Automobiles. If you go onto the Audi homepage, there are 5 main tabs at the top, and one of them is sustainability. That shows to me that 20% of their company is dedicated to the future. 20% of their company is dedicated to building that ideal society. So important aspects in their employee and society include promoting employee qualification and training, because they believe that their progress comes from employee progress. We look at their compatibility with working life and family, developing measures to support employees in caring for families, and introducing and implementing measures to support employees in caring for families. Moreover, they promote diversity and equality. That was something I mentioned that I wanted in my ideal society. And here is a company that is founded on those same values, who is looking for those same things. That just shows that corporations have the power to connect with the people and really build that. I looked more into their work and see that they work for safety measures for all their employees. If our employees, if any company's employees have the opportunity to go into a safe environment, they will do their best. They'll produce the best. They'll be the best they can be. And last but not least, it's the fact that they have volunteer programs and volunteer initiatives. And they do that to continue corporate volunteering as part of the corporate strategy. And moreover, they also mention that they promote information technology, mathematics, natural sciences, because they believe that if the STEM fields is our future as a society, it's the future of their company, and that's where they want to take the world. So we can see that whether it's corporations, whether it's government, whether it's us as a society of individuals, we all have to work together to build that ideal society, to make sustainability a real-life working mantra. Our next Amisha Spenta is Herberta. Direct translation to wholeness or perfection. Well-being, physical and mental. So if we talk about health in the future, that would be our advancement in healthcare and medicine. Changing medicine and healthcare to improve lives. If you look for 2017 medical innovations, you will come upon hundreds and thousands. And I picked 5 that I found were profound. Using the microbiome to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. Diabetes drugs that reduce cardiovascular disease and death. Cellular immunotherapy to treat leukemia and lymphomas. Liquid biopsies to find circulating tumor DNA. And bioabsorbable stem. For all of those not in the health sciences field, this sounds like a jumble of words. But what it truly does is it impacts the one thing, our future. And so, what we do now is to solve diseases like HIV and AIDS that ravage areas of Africa. What that does, this healthcare and advancements, is to solve malaria, which kills millions in Southeast Asia, or stop outbreaks like Ebola that puts the world in panic, or to help with world health issues like water sanitation, sewerage, and pesticides. Things that me and you don't face every day because we live in a first world country. But those people in third world countries who face these issues every day, they need this help. And last but not least, something that I think we can all connect with by losing loved ones to cancer. That's something that needs to be solved. And so, we live in this first world country, and we must empower this healthcare and advancement. We must be grateful for this possibility to advance, because our greatest advancements won't just help people here, like me and you. It'll help those people in third world countries who need it most, and that will be the biggest impact and change. And last but not least, our last Amesha Spenta, Ameritai. Direct translation to immortality, immortal bliss. So where is the world immortal? Where do we have that? And that would be with Mother Nature, where we take in O2 every day and take out CO2, the thing that we grow plants with and the same things that we cut down for paper. It's our Mother Nature. And so in our environment, without exception, recycling is the top action society can do to simultaneously improve the environment, the economy, sustainable manufacturing, and to prevent waste from going into oceans. And next are the statistics and figures that I hope you take into consideration. When U.S. recycling levels reach 75%, it'll be the environmental and CO2 equivalent of removing 55 million cars of U.S. Euros each year. When U.S. recycling levels reach 75%, it'll generate 1.5 million new jobs in the U.S. But recycling is not just your responsibility. It's a corporate responsibility. It's a social responsibility. It's a government responsibility. And when all those aspects come together, we can truly change the world. Because saving Earth is not for you. It's for the generations that come after you. It's for your great-grandkids, so they can see a tiger before they all go extinct. It's for your great-grandkids to visit Venice before the city sinks from high water levels. It's for your great-grandkids, so they don't have to wear masks to school and work due to air pollution. Protecting the Earth is protecting those future generations. It's giving them the opportunity, the chance, to see this beautiful world the same way you did. And so I come upon our conclusions. The 7 significant ideals, the Amesha Spentas, exemplify how uniting all these values and morals can make us better human beings. These 7 ideals are still being improved, worked upon, and in progress in our world today. And the most important thing is that we participate in their growth to make sure Zarathustra's teachings continue to thrive. So on your little sticky note, you wrote down 3 things you are positive about. Then you heard from 3 other people, things they're positive about. And now I hope from this presentation you've gained 7 more things that you're positive about. And I hope you take all these positive things that are possible for us to change the world for the future, and you participate in them. You work on that improvement. You become a part of that progress in society so that our future is bright. And so we always remember that what we do today is just a piece of all the things we can achieve tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Afriti. Does anybody have any questions? It was a very good presentation. Thank you very much.